Agua.
Agua grande.
Ah, perfecto. perros.
Okay, so that was the Quilotoa Loop Trek. I hope you enjoyed the video. In this section, it'll be more of a guide. I want to go over the route I took, maybe give a little bit of advice on just some things you may encounter, some things that may help you along the way, and also just share some of my favorite moments. I'm currently in Latacunga, Ecuador still. This is where I started the night before I went and started the trek rather. I flew into Quito and then took a bus from Quito to Latacunga. I think that bus ticket was maybe around $2-3. So anyways, I stayed at a hostel the night before in Latacunga, and then on Sunday, June 12th, I started the trek. I think I left around 10, 11 or so. The bus I think got there 1, 2, something like that. I walked or hiked for I think around 2 hours that first day. Set up my tent at this Mirador something another spot. Sorry, I don't remember the name. But yeah, I set up the tent right on the crater. That was beautiful. And yeah, so anyways, back to the outline here though. So I'm going to kind of go over a little bit of the route I took. I started at Quilotoa, and most people have Quilotoa at the end as the finishing day, but I kind of did the trek in reverse a little bit. So I went Quilotoa, then the next day I stayed at Chogchilan. That was where I stayed at the Cloud Forest Hostel. So that day was also, I think I started around 8, maybe finished around midday, and had some lunch at the hostel there, the Cloud Forest Hostel. Excellent place, so highly recommend stopping there. Really, really friendly people and great service. So then the next day, I went from Chogchilan down to, or rather down and then up. There's lots of down and ups on this trek, but went up to Isinlivi, I think it is, another small, very small little community, and stayed at the Lulu Lama Mountain Lodge. So that was, I guess you could say, day 3 as far as that night. Also another kind of half day. I think, like I mentioned, I think I may have started around noon, finished, or not, sorry, started around 8 or 9, finished, I think, around early afternoon, something like that. I think around 2 or so. So that was maybe a little bit more than the half day. It might have been 5 or 6 hours that third day. And then the fourth day, really, the fourth and final day, was Isinlivi to Sichos, which was again a very, it was maybe like 12 kilometers or so, so not that long of a trek. And that was kind of we had perfect, blue sky that fourth morning, and yeah, it was a really nice day as well. Yeah, but yeah, Sichos is where I pretty much stopped the trek. I think it came to somewhere around 30 miles or so, but I don't know the exact length. And Sichos, at the time there weren't any buses going. I'm still in Latacunga actually. There's some protests going on between the indigenous people and the government. I think the indigenous people would like fuel prices to be lowered, some farming debts I think to be sort of on hold, some environmental issues as well as far as oil drilling and that sort of thing. So anyways, I'm still here in Latacunga at a hostel. I'm waiting for the roads to open up so I can get back to Quito. And so yeah, that was a different day. That fourth day was odd because there weren't too many cars or buses running. No buses actually. So I was able to get a car close to Sichos. I think I ended up walking maybe another 2 or 3 kilometers down. As I was thinking, I'll just have to start walking to Latacunga, which I never would have made it, but I was happy that I got a car. And then we drove through all of these roadblocks, so we had to get out And so basically the protesters cut down lots of eucalyptus trees to block the roads. So we'd get out, move the 10 people or whatever would move the trees out of the way, and then we'd drive through, and then we put the trees back. So anyways, that fourth day was kind of crazy. Made it back, but I had many moments on this trek that I really enjoyed. One of the last days, going from Isinlivi to Sichos, the weather was perfect. I was kind of going through these indigenous farming communities and these sort of lush green hills, so it felt like I was walking in the Shire, which was really cool. And then of course the crater was an incredible sight, so certainly take your time, at least a few hours minimum to really take that in. And another time too, going from Chachilán to Isinlivi in the morning, the weather tends to be better. It's sunnier out. Clouds kind of tend to come in midday, and then afternoons and evening is usually cloudy. But anyways, that maybe the third day from Chachilán to Isinlivi was also just really beautiful. Walking down up and then down into the kind of the ravines, and just the sun was out, birds chirping. It was beautiful. So some advice for this hike: I would recommend doing it the way most people do it, going from Sichos to Quilotoa. You have sort of that payoff of the crater at the end, and basically if you're not going to, say, camp or put a tent up, it makes sense to just start at Sichos, pack lightly, and then start, make that first day down and then up to Lululama, and yeah, that would be an excellent way to go. I'm happy with the way I went because it was nice, setting up a tent and sleeping there, and then having the jacuzzi and sauna and really good food at the end of kind of the payoff at the end of the trek for me. But it kind of just depends what you would rather have at the end. I think it's a good idea the night before to start in Latacunga. So there are fairly, many accommodations, hostels, things like that in the town, and then starting the next morning makes a lot of sense to me. I think bus fares are probably very similar. So I think mine was like $2.50 going from Latacunga to Quilotoa. But again, if you go to Sichos, it's probably the same cost. But it's a good idea to start at Latacunga. Another piece of advice: don't come to Ecuador around June 13th. I think there's been several years of protests that have started on that day. So it might be better to come earlier, maybe even probably later. End of June may be nice for weather and possibly avoiding any protests. So June 13th. Don't be in Ecuador around that time. At least the last few years there's been protests. So yeah, that would be one thing to think about and just check on before you arrive or buy a ticket to Quito or I guess Guayaquil. But most likely people fly into Quito. It's much closer. So well, I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. As always, give me a little bit of feedback if you wouldn't mind. Maybe leave a comment. Do you want more music in the video? Maybe less music? Just what you want to see in these videos. I'm here to have a long-term commitment here to this channel. So I have many plans still in South America still. So next is Peru. I'm really looking forward to the Huayhuash Trek. It's supposed to be one of the nicest hikes in South America. I'm also going to try to do the Alpamayo and the Salcante over near Machu Picchu, over by Cusco. So anyways, got some good hikes coming up, and then after that I'm hoping to get to Europe for the first time in September. Try to do some hiking in the Pyrenees, maybe the Alps. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But thank you again, like I said, for watching. Hit that like button. Consider subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Hola.
Hola, amigo.
Sacando fotos.
Ah, sí, sí.
Bien, bien.
Video y fotos.